Attack on Titan, all 9 Titan shifters, ranked by maturity. The powers of the 9 Titans come with great responsibility in Attack on Titan, so it makes sense for the shifters to be mature and level-headed. The 9 shifters are the main driving forces of the Attack on Titan series. Each of them wields a unique power that is invaluable to their comrades and horrific to their enemies in a variety of specific ways. However, the user's personal values and behavior are a massive factor when measuring their utility. They differ significantly when interacting with others, and sometimes, it can even make them unreliable. By measuring the shifters based on maturity, we can better determine whether or not they are worthy of the responsibilities that come with their powers. 9. Eren often thinks in extremes, lashes out on a whim. For his entire life, Eren has always been hot-headed, visceral, and extreme. From picking fights with bullies he knew he couldn't win to destroying his relationship with Mikasa. The man's actions have been drastic regardless of circumstance or context. Although Eren possesses the strength and clarity to do what he feels is necessary, he'll often fail to even consider other perspectives. This was why he vouched for all 3 of the warriors' innocence and refused to consider them traitors until they exposed themselves. 8. Porco's aggression almost got him killed immediately. As one of the warriors' most outspoken personalities, Porco is an extremely zealous and aggressive fighter. This was proven during the battle for Liberio, where his foolish attempt to ambush Eren without backup led to Lara Tiber being killed. He displayed an equal amount of stubbornness in the second battle for Parity, where he was defeated and eaten. The young man's overconfidence was likely a deal-breaker and the Marleyan generals decided to pass him up in favor of Reiner with Marcel's recommendation. 7. Zeke is snobby, nihilistic. Zeke Yeager may carry himself with a scholarly veneer, though it hides his immature personal values. His defeatist attitude that Eldians would be better off having never existed was remarkably childish. Especially since it was the driving force behind his actions. Additionally, he was incredibly gullible to believe that Eren was on his side without anything stronger than his word. Furthermore, Zeke was driven to reconsider his entire life's philosophy over a brief conversation with Armin. In the end, playing catch was the factor that converted him from a genocidal utilitarian to a valued member of the United Coalition. 6. Annie is brooding unfriendly. Annie Leonhardt was easily the most suspicious member of the warriors during their infiltration of Parity. She constantly spoke about self-reliance, rejected the hospitality of others, and carried herself with an unnecessarily confrontational disposition. This was mostly because she was raised to fight and fulfill her obligations to her adoptive father. Nonetheless, Annie's inability to ingratiate herself with the other scouts made her the first warrior to be exposed and gave massive clues about who the other 2 imposters might be. In this regard, her attitude actively sabotaged the success of her mission. 5. Reiner was responsible but noticeably unstable. Reiner was both willing and able to do his duties when the situation arose. He sought to honor his homeland and had such strong values that he even felt a genuine sense of kinship with those he was infiltrating. After risking his life time and again for people he convinced himself that he hated, Reiner finally had a mental breakdown. He told Eren about his mission, confirming the scouts' suspicions and beginning the final stages of the warriors' mission to retrieve the coordinate. 4. Armin was intelligent, responsible, but sometimes inconsistent. Armin has frequently demonstrated intelligence and responsibility throughout his service to Parity. At Erwin's request, he helped to expose the warriors in the second battle for Shiganshina and was critical in uncovering Annie's identity. At the same time, he was also emotionally charged. His belief that the world could be reasoned with ultimately got Parity destroyed. And he humiliated himself by lashing out at Eren, and the Yeagerists took over a restaurant the Browse family had been visiting. Although Armin can form connections with other people better than most, he sometimes makes decisions with his heart rather than his mind. 3. Frida's failure to train got her family killed. Although her decision to inherit the founding Titan was questionable, Frida felt a responsibility to continue the traditions of her family. Given her interactions with Historia, it was clear that she was a kind and emotionally well-adjusted person from the minimal time she had in the story. However, since Frida failed to familiarize herself with the founding Titan, she and her family were murdered by Grisha Yeager. If she trained harder after inheriting its power, she might have been able to protect the Fritz dynasty. 2. Lara Tybur carried out her duties until the end. Lara was a member of the Tybur family and the user of the Warhammer Titan. Like Frida, her inexperience with her abilities was why she lost to her opponent and failed to protect those she loved. However, this wasn't on account of irresponsibility with training. Lara knew that she couldn't hone her skills as a shifter, since doing so would expose which of the Tybur family possessed the Warhammer's power. Despite her inexperience, Lara acknowledged her responsibilities by standing up to and fighting against Eren until her dying breath. 1. Pieck was intelligent, free-spirited, adaptable. Throughout the series, Pieck had been a reliable and charismatic warrior. She carried out her responsibilities to Marley without falling for their relentless dogma. Additionally, she had honed a variety of skills, including teamwork, espionage, and even direct combat. Perhaps Pieck's most admirable quality was her willingness to cooperate with the Eldians after the beginning of the rumbling. Despite how the scouts destroyed Liberio, she was the most agreeable when setting aside their differences in order to stop Eren from destroying the rest of the world.